All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's meeting. I want to go ahead and call it to order. We do have a couple of other commissioners that will be joining us in a second. Before we go through introductions, I do want to say thank you for your patience. I apologize for the delay. We were certainly taking care of the county's business, and we thank you for your patience. And with that, we are going to start with introductions. And we will start with our clerks and work our way around the dais.
Good evening. I am Christine Smith, Clerk to the Board. Welcome.
Good evening. I am Marlissa Easton, Deputy Clerk to the Board.
Good evening. My name is Yvette Townsend Ingram, and I serve you at large on the Commission. Welcome, everybody.
Hello, I am Mecklenburg County Commissioner Elaine Powell. I represent District 1, which is Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius, and North Charlotte. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is George Dunlap, and I'm elected by the people from District 3.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Lee Altman, County Commissioner serving at large, and I also have the privilege of serving as Vice Chair.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mark Jarrell. I've been elected by the people of District 4. I also have the honor of serving this board as chair.
Good evening and welcome. My name's Arthur Griffin, and I have the pleasure of serving as County Commissioner at large.
Good afternoon. My name is Vilma D. Leak, and I represent the most powerful district in the county. That's District 2. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Laura Meyer, and I represent District 5.
Good evening. I'm Commissioner Susan Rodriguez McDowell, elected by the people of District 6.
Good evening. I'm Dina Diorio, County Manager.
Good evening, Tyrone Wade, County Attorney.
All right, now that we've done introductions, our normal tradition is to do the Pledge of Allegiance at this point. Tonight, we have something very special, and I am really excited that we will have our friends that are visiting from South Academy of International Language Academy that's here, and they will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. They're going to do it in German first, and then in English, because we have students that are traveling internationally that are joining us from Mecklenburg. It's a state in Germany. So we want to say welcome and thank you so much for being here. And I want you all to please stand and be recognized. We're really excited about you all being here. And we're going to go ahead and, David, who's going to lead us? All the students are going to lead?
You hear what I said?
As they're coming down, I just want to do a reminder that we'll hear it in German first, and then we'll all follow in English second. Yes, please. Take it. Right up.
Those are young children.
You can do it at the podium or what?
Yeah, you could do it up at the podium. There you go.
Might be too short.
And so let's all stand.
Oh, absolutely. In any language.
In any language. You all can just fill in right there in the middle. Yeah. Someone can stand on either side. I'll do it. Yeah, I got it.
We're high school kids.
Ich steuere auf die Flagge der Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika und auf die Republik, für die sie steht, eine Nation unter Gott, unteilbar, mit Freiheit und Gerechtigkeit für alle. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. That's awesome. Thank you.
Do you want a picture?
And we're going to get one after they speak. We're going to get everybody. Yep. Well, thank you all for that so much. At this time, we're going to move into our invocation. And those of you that care to join in, if you'll please bow your head, I'll lead us in an invocation. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time to come together to do the work of the people of Mecklenburg County. We ask that you would be with us tonight, guide our thoughts, guide our decisions, and allow us to make wise decisions on behalf of the people. Let personality never get in the way of the focus on your people. These and all blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. At this time, what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the gavel over to our vice chair to lead us through awards and recognition.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have the delightful opportunity to read a proclamation recognizing Jewish American Heritage Month, and for that, I would like to please call down to our guests to receive it. And after I read it, you'll be able to introduce yourselves and make some comments. Whereas Jewish American Heritage Month is celebrated annually in May to honor the generations of Jewish Americans who have contributed to the history and culture of our nation. And whereas Jewish Americans have been an integral part of Mecklenburg County's vibrant history, with the first Jewish settlers arriving in the 1870s and establishing a lasting presence that continues to enrich the county today. And whereas Jewish Americans have made significant contributions to Mecklenburg County's economic development through entrepreneurship, business leadership, innovation, playing a key role in building a thriving local economy. And whereas the Jewish community has enriched Mecklenburg County's arts and culture, supporting institutions, artists, and events that celebrate creativity and foster cross-cultural appreciation. And whereas Jewish Americans have honorably served in the United States military, demonstrating courage, patriotism, and a commitment to protecting freedoms we hold dear. Whereas the Jewish community in Mecklenburg County has established cultural institutions, synagogues, and organizations that have enriched the county's religious, social, and cultural fabric while educating and serving the public, fostering dialogue and mutual understanding among groups, and promoting a welcoming, inclusive community for all residents. And whereas recognizing and celebrating Jewish American Heritage Month reaffirms our county's commitment to combating prejudice, standing against anti-Semitism and all forms of hate, and promoting unity among all Mecklenburg County's residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mecklenburg County Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2025 as Jewish American Heritage Month in Mecklenburg County and encourages all residents to join in celebrating the achievements, contributions, and enduring legacy of Jewish Americans both in our community and throughout this nation. This 6th day of May 2025, signed Mark D. Jarrell, Chair, Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. So moved.
Second.
Would any of my colleagues like to be heard? All right. You have the floor. Please introduce yourselves.
Commissioners, thank you so very much. That took my breath away. My name is Adam Colette. I'm the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Charlotte, joined by our leadership here, Jake House, Steve Menaker, and Douglas Green. On behalf of the Jewish Federation of Greater Charlotte and the entire Jewish community, I want to express our sincere appreciation for this proclamation and your recognition of Jewish American Heritage Month. This month is not just about honoring the past. It's also about celebrating the ongoing contributions of Jewish Americans here in Mecklenburg County and across the country. As this proclamation so beautifully states, Jewish Americans have helped shape our economy, classrooms, culture, public health systems, and our shared commitment to justice and opportunity. At a time when anti-Semitism is unfortunately on the rise, both nationally and here in North Carolina, this kind of public recognition matters. It sends a message not only to the Jewish community, but to all communities that our stories are valued, our safety matters, and our shared future depends on standing together. Thank you for your partnership, for your leadership, and for affirming that Mecklenburg County is a place where heritage is honored, diversity is celebrated, and hate, in all of its forms, has no place. We look forward to continuing to work with you in building a stronger, safer, more united community for all. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. If you'll stay there, actually, a few of my colleagues do want to speak, then we'll vote, and then we'd love for you to come receive it. So, Commissioner Powell.
I love your speech. When you think about everything that you said in your speech, it ties all of us together. And recently, I was with a famous Jewish man, and I had the most wonderful experience of meeting with him and him talking about how important it is to consider the future and the decision-making, and that is part of your religion. Would you like to speak to that? Because I think it's so important.
I really appreciate the question. I think that we are all needing to look towards the future while being informed by our past. It's an important part of our tradition and one that we learn an awful lot from, and it's why we try to teach lessons from the past in order to inform our community going forward.
Well, I look forward to learning a lot more about the beauty of your culture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Jarrell.
Thank you. You know I'm not going to let this moment go by and not recognize your work and say thank you so much for being here. I'm just really so thankful for the conversations that we've had, particularly about around unity and how we can work together, how we bring community together. Your lens and your focus, I love when people behind closed doors are the same as they are in public. I think that is just so important, and I can't let this moment go by without recognizing that, saying thank you, and just letting you know how appreciative I am for your work, your passion, your vision, your lens, and I know with your leadership and your help, we're going to make this community only grow stronger. So thank you.
Chairman Jarrell, that is, you're an extraordinary leader, and it's a privilege to work with you.
Commissioner Meyer. Sorry.
Thank you, and I'll be very brief, but there's so much hate in this world. I really appreciate this proclamation, and I appreciate your speech. It was beautiful. And I've met with two of you, and I appreciate the education. And I hope you're out there speaking more, because we need it, because some people just don't realize what's going on. And there is anti-Semitism. I was taught that, there's some symbols up on light posts that I didn't know even existed. I didn't know what they were. I know what they are now because of you. And I hope you continue your work, and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Griffin.
I just want to say I'm a native Charlottean. I had an opportunity to meet and speak with Harry Golden many years ago when my grown children were just toddlers. We went out to the J. Sheriff Schreiber and her husband, I don't even know if they're still around right now. I haven't seen her in a long time. The Bernsteins all welcomed me out at the J, and the welcoming, the friendship over the last 50 years has been phenomenal for me. I really want to appreciate the work that you guys do out there and that what you do in this community. But I wanted to say that from a personal perspective, growing up here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Griffin. Commissioner Leek.
Thank you. Let me say thank you for being here tonight. It takes me back to the years of 1969. Big Wage Radio was owned by a young man and his wife. You know exactly who I'm talking about. My husband pastored Little Rock Church, and we needed a site for children. And he and his wife bought all of the equipment for the kitchen so that we could have a first-class kitchen to serve those children in, and people within the confines of our denomination would have a job. And we employed 18 adults, and they had like 35 or 40 children every day. Had it not been for Big Waves Radio, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, that we would not have received that. The second thing is, my husband ran for mayor in '69. Who was his campaign manager? The owner of Waves Radio. He financed his campaign. And we are grateful, and I'll never forget this mother who worked so hard in the community. That's right. Sis Kaplan, he gave me the sheet. I knew it, but I was going to call it last. But thank you so much. But we thoroughly. And every week they would give away money from Waves radio station. And on Sundays, Stan in his Mercedes-Benz with the velvet curtains at the window. And the children would come out and look at this great car. And this gentleman who decided to finance pre-K then in 1969. So there are some good people, and everybody's not mad, but just a little bit. But if we can get over that little bit, we'll be all right. But thank you for being here tonight. I could not let you go without me saying,
We can get
Sis
over it.
Kaplan and Stan Kaplan. He spoke cigars every day.
That's right.
You know, Commissioner Leek, details are the soul of narrative, and you tell a great story. So thank you for sharing those recollections.
I've had some great experiences.
Yes, ma'am. So a couple things. Adam, will you please introduce the people standing behind you?
Absolutely. We have the chairman of the Jewish Community Relations Council, Steve Menaker. We have the director of the Jewish Community Relations Council, Douglas Green. And we have our esteemed board member, executive committee member, Jake House.
Who looks very familiar to us here in Mecklenburg County. Nice to see you again. So I just want to say two things. The animating ethos for me as a Jewish American, a proud Jewish woman, is tikkun olam, which means to heal the world. It is what drove me as a lawyer. It's why I ran for public office, and I know that it animates everything you do in your role representing the Jewish community out in the broader community, to build partnerships and to mutually support. So thank you for everything you do for Mecklenburg County. And lastly, I just really want to thank my colleagues. It means so much to me today, your comments, but also the way you have been so supportive of the Jewish community, always. I'm deeply touched and grateful. So at this time, all those in favor of the resolution, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous. And at this time, if you would like to come down and receive it, that would be great. And we can take a picture if you'd like also.
You're just going to shake hands starting that way and work your way around.
Yeah, Christine, here.
Good to see you, friend. How are you? Thanks for being here. Good to see you.
Can't forget them.
Thank you.
Can't forget you.
Congratulations.
You about Waves, didn't you?
Congratulations.
This is for you.
Good to see you. Can't get rid of me.
Y'all don't go away because we're going to take a picture together.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
Good to meet you.
Over to the center,
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Right here in the middle. The photographer is right up this way.
Center.
Look, you're so tall.
All right.
Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, at this time, we will turn over to Commissioner Townsend Ingram for the Mental Health Awareness Month proclamation.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I'm absolutely delighted, and also it's a privilege for me to read this proclamation And I thank my colleagues for allowing me to read the proclamation because mental health awareness, mental wellness is a priority for me. It's personal for me, and particularly as it pertains to youth. To me, it's troubling that we don't put as much emphasis on mental wellness as we do physical wellness. And so for children, that's even more critically important, and we need to start earlier. So I'm delighted that we have children in the audience. I want you to know that I greatly and passionately love children and want your minds to be well guarded so that because you are our future. And I hope that our students from Germany can understand English, and if not, please translate to them. Because I can say the French national anthem, but my fluency is not there. So, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina proclamation, whereas the behavioral health of every citizen is essential to the emotional and economic prosperity of our families, communities, and businesses in the Mecklenburg County community, and behavioral health is a key component of every individual's overall health and well-being. And whereas mental illness affects people of all ages, races, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds, symptoms of mental illness are not only common, but they are also treatable. And early intervention can save lives. And whereas feelings of shame and fear, of stigma and discrimination prevent many living with mental illness from seeking help, and whereas awareness about mental wellness can positively transform attitudes about and towards people with mental illness, making it easier for our citizens to seek help, and whereas untreated mental illness leads to higher rates of unemployment, school absenteeism, arrests, incarceration, emergency department visits, hospitalizations, suicides. I wanted to add chemical abuse as well. And whereas we strive to create connections in Mecklenburg County that will support mental wellness by increasing access to treatment, educating ourselves and our communities about mental wellness and mental illness, and supporting our citizens as they seek to improve their behavioral health. And whereas we strive to improve public safety, reduce recidivism, and improve the quality of life for citizens experiencing symptoms of mental illness by working collaboratively with state and local partners to increase prevention and early intervention supports, improve access to care, and strengthen coordinated care and system navigation supports through implementation of the Mecklenburg County Behavioral Health Strategic Plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners joins the state of North Carolina and does hereby proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Mecklenburg County, and urge all citizens to join in recognizing the necessity of accessible and appropriate mental health services for all citizens. This 6th day of May 2025, signed Mark D. Jarrell, Chair, Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Before I open it up to my colleagues, would Dr. Penn, Division Director for Child and Family Services, and her team like to come down? Because we'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you. As you all are coming down, I just really wanted to lift up and highlight our mental health workers from the county. These folks are, they're just such high-quality people and practitioners, and I'm just really grateful for the work that you all do, and I just really want to lift you guys up, and I think that sometimes, well, you guys know I think social workers ought to be the most highest paid people in the entire county, but I think the work that you guys do is really in the trenches, and it's just the most important person-to-person work, and I'm just blown away by y'all's courage and just, the work that you do. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Leek.
I was not going to say anything, but I guess I better say something to all of you who represent the health department and have dedicated your lives to help those who cannot help themselves and to look out for those of us who are handicapped. The least respected people are handicapped people. And I certainly appreciate all that you do. And I'm pretty sure that at Christmas time, your parents bought you toys that exemplified medicine. That's what they did when I was growing up, nurses and firemen and those kinds of things, professions they wanted us to go into and being teachers. But when the nurse came to our school to give that big shot, you know, that shot you get in your arm, and it leaves a scar for the rest of your life, they had to catch us because we would run around the room. We didn't want the needle. We were afraid of the needles. So I'm sure it's not that way today. But again, let me say thank you for all that you do. And when my husband was killed in a car wreck, had it not been for the hospital and the nurses taking care of before he passed, I don't know how I would have made it. So thank you so much for what you do, the time that you put in, the interest that you put in. I heard an announcement Sunday of the president of Livingstone College who needs health care. And I pray that he will get what's necessary for him. So again, thank you. I could not let it pass, Mr. Chairman. Could not. The most respected people are our doctors and our nurses sometimes, but the teachers who taught you to get here, we want to thank them too. So thank you so much. And your parents who provided the money that was necessary to get you there because it's expensive. So again, thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Leek. Commissioner Powell.
Can you say that Jewish phrase again, that
Tikkun olam means to heal the world.
So Tikkun olam, like you guys are part of healing the world, and I appreciate the work that you do in every aspect of your job. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Chairman Jarrell.
Thank you. I can't let this opportunity go by either. We are just so thankful and grateful to each and every one of you for the work that you're doing. You really are heroes in this community. There are so many people who are suffering in silence a lot of times. And you all are on the front lines, and you're providing support. You're delivering a level of comfort. You're going into spaces and places that we could never be, and you are representing Mecklenburg County, but your work really goes beyond just the footprint of where we are. It's a labor of love. You are leading with your heart, and we just cannot thank you enough for what you do. And I want you to know from the bottom of our hearts that this board sincerely appreciates your work, and this community respects and appreciates each and every one of you. So thank you so much. And I want to give you a standing ovation today.
Dr. Penn, we would love to hear from you if you have any comments.
Thank you. My name is Katrine Penn, and I am the Mecklenburg County Division Director for Clinical and Contractual Services. Thank you, Chair Jarrell, Vice Chair Altman, and all county commissioners. And thank you to County Manager Diorio for your vigorous support and advocacy for behavioral health in Mecklenburg County. In partnership with Alliance Health, my colleagues from Mecklenburg County's Community Support Services, the County Manager's Office, Criminal Justice Services, the Department of Community Resources, and Public Health, it is our honor to receive this proclamation today. In celebration of Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to share with you and the public some of the very important work being done in our community. So first, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Stacy Butler.
Good evening. So my name is Stacy Butler, and I stand before you a grateful public health employee with a thank you note. In 2001, I had the incredibly good fortune to be hired by Mecklenburg County as one of the first 2 full-time children's mental health clinicians for a new co-responder program called Child Development Community Policing. The county invested in co-response alongside the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department to immediately support children and families impacted by violence and other trauma at a time when co-responder programs were not widely known or understood. The county's steady support enabled CDCP to expand to all of Mecklenburg County, including our 6 town police departments. I used to say that we worked in the horrible gap between terrible things happening to children and access to expert support when they needed it most. Support that may have never come. That gap is now gone, thanks to this board. And to you, Dina. Over the years, as my role changed, I've had a unique bird's eye view of Mecklenburg County's constant commitment to innovation and expansion of our local mental health safety net for children. The creation of and expansion of Pat's Place, the institution of school-based mental health services within Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, our Children's Developmental Services Agency leading the charge for infant mental health services, our community support services expanding access to domestic violence treatment for impacted families, to the creation of the Youth Crisis Center, the opening of the Behavioral Health Urgent Care, Child Act teams on the ground in our county, to resiliency in communities in stress after trauma or recasts, efforts to increase evidence-based treatment access and bring sources of strength peer programming to CMS, as well as Familia Adelante and my big notebook, Socio-Emotional Learning, to the groundbreaking on the new Katie Blessing Center and so many others. All made possible because Mecklenburg County, in some way, lent a voice, led the charge, was a committed partner, or provided necessary support. Today, I recommit myself, and I ask that you join myself and my colleagues gathered here to continue to put the mental health needs of local children and families first by being that voice, supporting innovation, and when needed, taking every opportunity to eliminate the gaps. Thank you for all you do for us, but more importantly, for all you do for our children.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Margie Lugabell. I'm the Director of Hope Community Clinic at Project 658, and I'm here today to speak a little bit about the importance of case management. When we talk about mental health, a lot of focus is on therapy, modalities offered, and perhaps medication management. But for many people, especially those in marginalized communities, the barriers begin long before they step foot in a clinic. This is primarily due to what we call social determinants or social drivers of health that many of our patients experience, and really emphasizes the importance of involving case management in an integrated care health setting. We all know the need is there. In Mecklenburg County, according to the most recent community health assessment, 1 in 5 adults reports a diagnosis of depression, and 1 in 5 teens has considered suicide. But even when those services are available, people often can't access them, not because they don't want the help, but because their environment makes it nearly impossible. We're all aware of Charlotte's poverty crescent, which includes neighborhoods stretching from West Charlotte through parts of the North and East, where residents face higher levels of poverty, unemployment, limited access to quality education, lack of insurance, poorer housing options, language barriers, and transportation concerns. These factors are directly linked to worse mental health outcomes and lower access to treatment, thus highlighting the need for case management and social system navigators. And these individuals do much more than coordinate appointments. They're the ones finding community resources to reduce those barriers to care. At our clinic, it is those staff members that new patients meet first during an intake process, way before they meet a therapist. During this initial process, we do the social determinants of health screening and try to reduce any potential obstacles before the treatment even begins. Having case managers that speak the language of our patients and understand the cultural nuances involved around those with mental health treatment help build that initial trust that is really so important to those seeking therapy. And at our clinic, we're really fortunate to partner with so many other amazing safety net organizations that really helps our care coordinators. We make referrals to Nourish Up, so our patients can go and get non-perishable items as well as fresh produce. We work with crisis assistance to help with utility and rent assistance. We coordinate with NC MedAssist and actually have one of their outreach coordinators at our clinic twice a month to help enroll patients in their free mail order prescription program, which really, knocks out two barriers, which is transportation and limited financial resources. And then for patients that are eligible for Medicaid or maybe Marketplace plans, we coordinate with CCLA, so Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, to help enroll those patients in Medicaid. And it's much more than that. And it's not only our case managers that are doing this work. Everyone at our clinic is involved in some type of case management, from our front desk folks to our therapists to our doctors. And we've helped clients do a number of different things: complete Section 8 housing, find affordable daycare so they can continue their employment. We assist with translating documents, help enroll their kids in school, and the list goes on and on. And it's very important to realize that we cannot address someone's complex trauma when they're worried about feeding their families. If we truly want to improve mental health outcomes in our communities, we can't just add more providers. We need to make the system navigable and support people with real-life challenges to keep them from, that are keeping them from the treatment they need and deserve. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Erin Perna, and I am honored to speak before you tonight on behalf of Promise Resource Network, but most importantly as a person who myself is in long-term recovery from both mental health and substance use challenges. Promise Resource Network became the first standalone peer-run organization in North Carolina because of this county's belief in the value of lived experience and the power behind community-driven solutions. This proclamation affirms that even 20 years later, you are still walking beside us. But Mental Health Awareness Month is more than just a spot on the calendar. It is a reminder that we as a community have a choice to raise awareness and also a choice to act. At PRN, we walk with people who are navigating some of life's most difficult paths, living with their mental health challenges, surviving trauma, facing incarceration, battling substance use, experiencing homelessness, and suffering the endless collateral consequences of stigma. People like myself, who were once told that we were too far gone or too broken. But we don't see broken people. We see survivors. We see artists, parents, leaders, and community builders. Our work is grounded in lived experience, every member of our team bringing their own story of recovery, pain, resilience, and growth. And we offer what we know works: authentic peer support, relationships that are rooted in mutuality, and spaces where people are not labeled by their illness, but instead deeply seen and appreciated. We know that healing doesn't just happen in clinics, it happens in our community. We know that recovery is more than just medications and wait lists. It's about finding connection.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so it was so appreciated. At this time, I think all my colleagues having been had an opportunity to speak and for your comments, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of passing the proclamation, please raise your right hand. Any opposed? And that is unanimous. Would you like to come down and receive it? You can start there. Yeah.
Thank you. Good to see you.
you so much.
Thank you. Of course. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you. Thank you.
Dr. Payne.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I loved your remarks. Thank you. Nice to see you. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do. Marcus, thank you so much.
You know, this is important. Thank you so much. And
Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you so much.
You guys look really good in green. Hello.
Nice to see you.
I love green.
What's up, neighbor?
Thank you.
Keep an eye on him, all right?
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Good to see you.
I gotta get ready for some people.
You have the nicest energy. Thank you. Thank you. He does. You should have seen him smiling at you guys.
Right there. Thank you. Right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes. All right. At this time, I will turn us over to Commissioner Velmalik, who will be reading our Clerks to the Board of County Commissioners Week proclamation to honor our fantastic clerks. And don't know if you would like to stay where you are, if you would like to go to the speaker's well. It's up to you. Okay, you're happy there.
I won't ding the bell on you. Thank you. Let me first say thank you to the chairman of this board for affording me the opportunity to participate in reading a proclamation. Thank you, sir. The proclamation is geared toward those who do the heavy work for us, who answers the telephone, who make sure that we get the right message at the right time, to make sure that the general public is informed of what we are doing and where we're supposed to be. So I'm honored to read this proclamation this afternoon. So will you two young ladies, if there are others here, please stand. Please stand. Stand. Thank you, so people can see you. Whereas the role of the clerk to the Board of County Commissioners is crucial for maintaining an informed community and facilitating effective local governance through communication among citizens, governing bodies, and administrative departments. And whereas the position of clerk is one of the oldest in the local government, continues to be essential as the official record keepers and recorders of those things that happen within the confines of the county, with responsibilities that are deeply rooted in history and in other areas. Always ask for the minutes when you're not sure if something has happened. These young ladies will have that information for us. Whereas North Carolina General Statute 1538-111 requires every board in the county commissioners to appoint or designate a clerk to the board to perform any duties that may be required by law of the board commissioners, including, but not limited to, preparations, filing, and protection of local government records, which are vital for accountability and transparency. And whereas clerks enhance their professional skills through active participation in the North Carolina Association of County Clerks to the Boards of Commissioners, which in participation with the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill School of Government and the International Institute of Municipalities of Municipal Clerks, offers national recognized certification programs. And they continue professional educational training. And whereas clerks, though they are dedicated to professional development, not only to improve the efficiency of their offices, but also bring positive recognition to their counties, to the county commissioners, to the manager, and to others by participating in advanced education and obtaining professional-related certification. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mecklenburg County Board of County Commissioners that May 4th through May 10th, 2025 will be recognized as Clerks to the Boards of County Commissioners Week in Mecklenburg County, and extended to appreciation to the clerks to the board. We're speaking of Mrs. Christine Smith, and Deputy Clerk to the board is Arlisha Eason. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And to all county clerks who are not even here tonight, and deputy clerks for their vital services that they perform and their dedication to the county they represent. We cannot thank you enough. We cannot pay you enough for what did you do for us. So we certainly appreciate you and honor you in this capacity. I so move, Mr. Chairman, that we accept this proclamation with thanks to these very fine young women and men that's not here tonight. I don't think we have any men.
Second.
Thank you. Having been moved and properly seconded, I imagine many will want to be heard, so I'll start on my far left with Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
In the interest of time, I am just going to say thank you and huge respect for both of you and the work that you do. We value you guys so much, so thank you.
Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your response is amazing. Every time I get in touch with you for anything, you guys respond to me so quickly. I'm amazed by that, with everything you have on your plates. Thank you for your work. Thank you for keeping us together and coordinated.
Let me again say thank you so much to each of you and all of you that work as clerks. I fought hard to get clerks. There were those on the board that didn't even want clerks. You don't need them. We do need you, and we certainly appreciate you.
Outstanding. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
You ladies are like above board, and you do it with class, and I had no idea the requirements of clerks and how they have to stay up to date and all of the things that they have to keep straight with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I think every Tuesday should be extra appreciation for what you do. I appreciate you every day. I hope you feel it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dunlap.
Thank you. I so much appreciate the two of you, and in fact, the entire team, for all the work that you've done, for all of the support that you provided for me during my term as chair. Thank you so much.
Chairman Jarrell.
I ditto what everyone has said. I sit here and I think about you all are clerks representing the county of 1.2 million people, and you're in an elite group of clerks across the country that can say that you represent that many people. So thank you.
Will you come through so we can shake your hands?
Oh, wait, hang on. I want to say something.
Oh, we're not
I just want to say also how much respect I have for you both. You're just consummate professionals, handle a lot of difficult situations and people and complicated issues with just total grace and expertise. So at this time, if you would like to say anything, we would love to hear from you.
No. Thank you.
She never does talk.
I'm not a public speaker, so I just wrote a couple words so that I make sure I get this straight. I want to thank the board for recognizing Clerks Week.
Just a little bit louder.
Okay. It means a lot to have our work recognized in this manner. I'm so proud and honored to serve this community. The ongoing support we receive from the NCACC, the School of Government, our county commissioners, Attorney Wade, the executive team, and our colleagues here at the county reminds us that our work matters. We are committed to doing our job with care, integrity, and transparency, and it's easier to do when we know our efforts are seen and appreciated. I do want to give a special shout out to my team who are are a vital part of the clerk's office. Of course, Arlissa, my right-hand woman, she's silent but deadly. She's a superstar. Madison Little, Tanya Rowe, Barb Felder, and our youngest, but also pretty deadly, Brianna Benedict. Sorry. And I actually call them the Mecklenburg County's Dream Team. So I want to thank you again. Just know that I love what I do. I say this over and over. It is such a blessing. And they say, what is it that you're not working when you're doing something that you love? I mean, I am working for sure. But I also truly love it. So you guys are such a blessing to me. And thank you so much.
Did we vote, Madam Clerk?
We did not.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. It's unanimous.
So beautiful. Wow.
Good job. Stay ready. Look at the shoes. Got the fur in the front. All right, cuz, hey, you be good.
Take care of Bibb County.
I will.
Is he leaving?
Yeah, he's got to go.
Would you like to take a picture?
Well, it's not every week, it's clerk week.
Exactly.
Thank you, appreciate it. One more here. Thank you.
All right. And we have one more very important proclamation, which will be brought to us by Chairman Mark Jarrell.
So the next proclamation serves to formally acknowledge and celebrate Africa Day, which is a worldwide holiday recognizing its historical significance in promoting unity and independence among African nations and its continued relevance through the initiatives of the African Union.
I hear you.
The proclamation highlights the invaluable work of the African think tank in fostering belonging, building bridges between the African diaspora and local communities. And this proclamation is particularly special because we have so many African communities represented here in Mecklenburg County. From West Africa to South Africa, East and North. And so I know this is a very special proclamation to all of them, and it reads as follows. Whereas Africa Day, celebrated annually on May 25th, commemorates the historic foundation of the Organization of African Unity on May 25th, 1963, a pivotal moment in the fight against colonialism and the promotion of unity, independence, and solidarity among African nations. And whereas the OAU evolved into the African Union in 2002, expanding its mission to foster socio-economic development, defend the sovereignty of member states, and promote international collaboration for the benefit of the African continent and its diaspora. And whereas Mecklenburg County acknowledges the instrumental role of the African think tank in fostering a sense of belonging, building bridges between the African diaspora, Friends of Africa, and local communities, promoting opportunities for collaboration and youth. And whereas the establishment of Africa Day celebrations in Mecklenburg County marks the first official recognition of this holiday in North Carolina, symbolizing the county's commitment to embracing and celebrating the rich diversity and cultural heritage of the African diaspora. And whereas Africa Day serves as a platform to honor Africa's historical achievements, including its strides towards unity and liberation from foreign domination, while also recognizing its modern successes in areas such as health, education, entrepreneurship, women's empowerment, and sustainable development. And whereas Mecklenburg County celebrates the African Union's initiatives, which inspired global and local awareness of Africa's potential by advancing sustainable development goals in youth and senior engagement, economic empowerment, and healthcare, encouraging government entities, businesses, and community organizations to honor Africa's heritage and foster cross-cultural unity through events and programs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 25th, 2025 as Africa Day in Mecklenburg County and encourages all residents to join in this special observance this 6th day of May 2025. Signed, Mark D. Jarrell, Chair, Mecklenburg Board of County Commissioners. So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Having been moved and properly seconded, would any commissioners like to be heard?
I would just like to thank our commissioners for acknowledging Africa Day. And it's important to me for obvious reasons, originating from sub-Saharan Africa country. And thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Townsend Ingram. Commissioner Leek?
I'm wearing a corsage that was sent to me by the women of Nigeria. I sent 9 women to Africa 4 years ago looking for contracts in small business. I helped pay their way. I didn't ask the counter for a dime. I wanted to make sure that they could compete in Africa for some contracts. One lady is building a home there now and still there. I also want to say I've been to Africa 7 times. I've built a church and a school as a missionary. So I have not been sleeping. I work from day to night. And I say this because I enjoy what I do. And I'm pleased to know that I have been there, and I have some soil in a sock that I brought back from Africa, the motherland. So thank you for allowing me to say that. So they sent me these flowers, 3 of them, 3 corsages, and I'm glad I wore it tonight. And when I speak of blackness, it's not that I'm bragging or anything. Just like you're proud of who you are, I'm proud of who I am. And I'm sure all of us have contributed to this well-being of all people, and especially in America. When I got back and landed in New York at Kennedy's airport, I reached down and kissed the ground because I had never seen poverty like I saw it in Africa. And we were there for 2 months, the first trip. And the raining and the kids walking to school, not riding, no clothes, half clothes. But anyway, I just want to say I've had some wonderful experiences that you can't take from me, that God gave me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Powell?
I have never been to Africa, but some of my best friends are from Kenya, and I've learned a lot from them. And if you remember when I got sworn in, my friend Grace stood with me to get sworn in. And I especially, I'm even thinking of her as I'm reading this, I love the part about women's empowerment and sustainable development and cross-cultural unity. And so thank you for bringing this proclamation before us. And I'm going to put May 25th on my calendar and do something to celebrate. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
So I know I just read the proclamation, but I just, very quickly, I just want to, when I think about this proclamation, I can't help but to think about my grandfather who was born in Liberia, West Africa, and spoke, I think, 7 languages, and came to the United States as an adult and did pretty well. And I think he would be really proud to know that we were lifting up this proclamation tonight. And he was all about unity and definitely would be proud. So I appreciate you colleagues for doing this, and thank you for giving me that space.
Chairman Jarrell, I'm sure he would be incredibly proud of you and for this and for many things. And this just makes me so happy to be a resident of Mecklenburg County because we do have so many different communities from Africa living here with unique languages and cultural traditions, and it's so much fun to learn and be enriched. So thank you for bringing this forward because it's really a blessing for all of us.
I should have mentioned as well, we do, I'm on the board of International Minority Coalition, and we have 13 ethnicities represented, but we do have the vast majority of African countries represented here in North Carolina within the IMC. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you. If there's no one else who needs to be heard at this time, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. That is unanimous, and at this time, I will turn the gavel back over to the chairman.
Well, thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and thank you, colleagues, for going through this. This was amazing time. Absolutely. So right now, what we're going to do is, I know we've got some restless students and folks that have had a very long day, and we're going to move to our public appearance portion. And I do have to read a rather lengthy statement, and then I will call folks down to speak. Public appearance is the period during the board's regular meeting that members of the public are provided the opportunity to speak on matters not appearing on the agenda. Members of the public who appear during the public appearance portion of a regular meeting may discuss any matter within the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners except for the following types of matters. A matter which appears on the agenda of that meeting of the board. B, a matter which concerns the candidacy of any person for public office, including the candidacy of the person appearing before the board. C, a request that the board considers funding a certain program or activity, either from the current budget or by inclusion in a future budget. Such requests would be made at the board's annual budget public hearing. The time limit for speaking is 3 minutes unless there are 4 or more speakers who wish to speak concerning the same matter, in which case all persons wishing to speak on that same matter will be considered a group and given a total of 10 minutes. The board reserves the right to alter these rules on a case-by-case basis as necessary for the efficient and effective conduct of business. Members of the board will not engage in dialogue with the public appearance speakers. Comments will be received and followed up on as applicable by county staff and/or members of the board. Handouts and/or tokens shall be given to the clerk for distribution to the board at the conclusion of the meeting. Members of the public can always access and view the meeting on the government channel at watch.MeckNC.gov. All right, so with that being said, our first speaker is going to be David Lynn, and while David is coming down, he's going to get 10 minutes. He is representing our group of students. So you get up to 10 minutes, David. And while he's coming down, I want to take an opportunity to recognize someone who is very important. When Dina and Commissioner Dunlap and myself went to Germany, it was coordinated by someone who has an amazing title, and the Chief Protocol Officer, Catherine Hansen, who also received the Order of the Hornet, is here with us tonight. And I will tell you, I'd love for Catherine to stand to be recognized. She doesn't like the recognition, but thank you, Catherine. And just so you know, there is a protocol when you travel and to really engage with these governments and different and all kinds of ways that you're supposed to engage. And Catherine does an amazing job. She's been doing an amazing job for this community, for the city, for the county, and we'd be remiss if we did not recognize and thank her. So thank you, Catherine. And with that being said, David, you have 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Jarrell, and thank you, Vice Chair Altman, members of the County Commission, County Manager Diorio, to the clerks, to the county attorney. It's our honor to be here, and also for our students to have had the privilege to have been preceded by important topics ranging from the celebration of Africa Day to the significance of mental health awareness, honoring, of course, our clerks, and we think so highly of the city staff, Jewish American heritage. And when I hear the Vice Chair speak of Tikkun Olam, to heal the world, that is why we embark in education and in global exchanges. At South Academy of International Languages, where I have the privilege of serving as principal, we are in District 2, powerful, as the Commissioner Leek said earlier, also persistent because they've stayed almost to their bedtime. We're fortunate to have partners cross many oceans, and in the oceans there are waves, or there are ripples that often become waves, and someone in this room who has already been mentioned by the chairman creates these beautiful waves is Catherine Henson, and we are grateful to her for her work 31 years ago, to establish the Mecklenburg County Mecklenburg-Vorpommern partnership that has resulted in today's exchange. It was 14 months ago that we met at the foundation with members of the commission, with Patrick Dalleman, who visited us from Mecklenburg-Vorpommern with a delegation, and that rekindled a partnership between two schools that started 15 years ago as a teacher-to-teacher partnership. With Recknich campus, which is in Laga, Germany. We have a partnership with education, with teachers exchanging ideas from about 2010 till about the start of the pandemic. And then, of course, like many things, it took a pause. But a year ago, thanks to your efforts and thanks to Catherine Henson and Reinhard von Henning, we were able to reestablish a partnership that this time focused on student exchange. So sort of like a phoenix that is our mascot as a school, we're able to rise up from a teacher-to-teacher exchange to something even better, with students who are here tonight led by their teachers, Herr Paul Kunutz and Frau Nancy Bench, who came here before as a teacher and is now here as a teacher leader. Let's have them stand and be recognized. For the public record, I'd like to recognize our teachers, Medina Yeet, Austin Thompson, Nadia Barry, with the support of Catherine Wendelkin, who helped coordinate our end of the exchange. And to our extraordinary students, we're fortunate to have 9 students from our school travel to Mecklenburg-Vorpommern about 4 weeks ago. They were hosted by peers. They had a chance to visit many sites, universities, palaces, and the birthplace of Queen Charlotte in Miro. It was a wonderful opportunity, full of hospitality. They were welcomed by leaders of the state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, just as they were welcomed here today. But these 9 students are now welcoming, along with several of their peers, 15 students from Laga who would like to come forward this evening to recite the state poem of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. So it's now my pleasure to welcome our students, our guests, who are here with us tonight.
Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Wir sind vom Recknich Campus Lager aus Mecklenburg-Vorpommern und wollen Ihnen ein typisch deutsches Gedicht vorsingen.
Good evening. We are from the Recknich Campus Lager in Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania, and we want to present you a typical German poem.
Mecklenburger Heimatlied.
Wo die grünen Wiesen leuchten weit und breit, wo die Ähren wogen zu der Erntezeit,
Wo die Kieferwälder stehen am Ostseestrand,
Da ist unsere Heimat Mecklenburger Land. Da ist unsere Heimat Mecklenburger Land.
wo die Hammerschläge auf der Helling dröhnen, wo die stolzen Schiffe auf die Reise gehen, wo die Muttersprache noch gilt im ganzen Land,
Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land. Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land.
wo das Bauernhaus in weiten Feldern steht,
wo die Dorfkirche treu die Stunde schlägt,
wo des Försters Hütte steht am Waldesrande.
Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land. Da ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land.
wo der Bauer schafft den lieben langen Tag, wo der Förster in den dunklen Wäldern jagt, wo der Fischer fischt mit seiner starken Hand. Das ist unsere Heimat,
Mecklenburger Land. Das ist unsere Heimat, Mecklenburger Land.
So right now, what we'll do is we're going to take a picture. So David, you bring everybody down and just come right up in front. We're going to take a group shot and let the young people go home.
I think they should get something for staying and enduring that long.
They should. We owe them. So you guys come all in front. Just fill in the front, everybody.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you, young man.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Amazing.
Bye-bye.
Stay up late. Great job.
Thank you.
From Germany. Great job. Great job.
How do you say amazing? How do you say amazing in German?
We'll send it to you.
Thank you.
That's thanks a lot. How do you say amazing?
Everybody fill in.
Thank you.
Great are you? Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. For being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight.
I don't know. We don't know.
Thank you.
You did a great job.
Y'all ready to fall asleep?
Good job.
Thanks for coming tonight.
High five.
Come in.
Great job.
Wow. Y'all just keep
Thank you.
coming. Hey, yeah.
How are you?
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
You guys got to turn that way now.
Now we got a picture. Now we got
We're getting a picture. Turn that way.
That way.
Yeah.
Indeed. Camera. Come on, fill in, everybody. Hey, fill in.
Come on over.
Yep. Come on over.
Let's wait for Catherine, please.
Yeah, those steps are hard to navigate.
Yeah, they're such a pain.
They're very steep.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let's wait for Catherine. Come on, Catherine.
Hello?
All right. Thank you, everybody.
How was the pizza?
It was good? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
But you're in my district. Thanks for being here.
And we're wishing everybody safe travels, and thank you to all the educators for what you do. Thank you so much. Coming down, we have other speakers tonight. Julie Kelly, are you present? Julie, if you'll come here, and then, I didn't see, oh, Vicky, you can come to, you can just come after Julie. You're going to be after Julie, Vicky. Thank you. Julie, thank you for your patience. You get up to 3 minutes.
Hi, my name's Julie. I'm from Huntersville. I'm here because this week is American Lung Association's Turquoise Takeover for lung cancer awareness. In 2022, I was diagnosed with lung cancer at 42 years old. I have 3 children. They were 9, 11, and 13 at the time. I had no risk factors and no symptoms.
It was discovered by accident by a CT calcium score scan that my doctor ran. It has been both a nightmare and a miracle because it was caught at stage 1B. I am the luckiest of the unlucky. In September of that year, I had half of my left lung removed and was placed on targeted therapy. Lung cancer kills more people than breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer combined. We receive less than 10% of the federal funding. The 5-year survival rate across all stages is 27%. Most people are not diagnosed until stage 4 when symptoms appear. That survival rate is 9%. My story as a youngish person with lung cancer is not rare, and it is not over. 20% of lung cancer patients have never smoked. 40% have already quit a substance known to be as addictive and deadly as cocaine and heroin. All of us are battling a disease that we are routinely blamed for. Society is not so subtly telling us that we deserve it. There are many risk factors for lung cancer, including smoking and radon, but the main one is having lungs. So what can you do? Be aware of and spread the word on these 3 things. Anyone over 50 with a 20-pack year smoking history is eligible for lung cancer screening. It's a quick CT scan. Know that you are worth the time and possible expense of your preventative health care. Go to your annual physical. Get the screenings you are eligible for. Consider asking about a low-cost calcium score, like the one that I had, especially if you have a family history of heart disease or lung cancer. And finally, spread the word about the inequitable funding of lung cancer and help us stop the stigma. You can get a free white ribbon for your door or your wall from the White Ribbon Project, an organization set up because it was difficult for us to even find awareness ribbons. I'd be honored to make one for you myself. There is hope and promise growing in lung cancer, but we really need the awareness and support within our community to make it happen. And finally, remember, anyone with lungs can get lung cancer, but no one deserves it.
Thank you, Julie. Next up is Vicki Craighead Davis. And after Vicki, it'll be Kaya Allen. Good to see you, Vicki. You get up to 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good to see you, too. Good evening, Commissioners, County Manager, DRL, and the clerks. My name is Vicki Craighead Davis. I'm the Executive Director for Building Hope, Building Commitment, a nonprofit committed to ending homelessness, housing retention, and stabilization services. We provide supportive services, and we walk along those experiencing homelessness, trauma, and system failures. I come before you with a vision and a request, grounded in the reality, backed by data, and inspired by hope. In Charlotte's Regan Drive corridor, specifically 5105 Regan Drive, we are witnessing a humanitarian crisis unfold in real time. This is a designated corridor of opportunity, but the opportunity has yet to arrive for the people that's living in that area. In the first 3 months of 2023 alone, over 100 police incidents were reported in this area. Over the past 2 years, Regan Drive has remained among Charlotte's highest crime corridors, plagued by drug activity, prostitution, and violent crimes. And this is no matter what time you visit the street. While property crimes have decreased citywide, violent crimes rose by 2.7% in 2024, with this corridor seeing little relief. Most importantly, unsheltered homelessness in Mecklenburg County rose by 33% from 2023 to 2024, and many of those individuals are living in or near that very location. Behind these numbers are people sleeping in motel rooms that they can barely afford, in vehicles, behind buildings, many with untreated mental health conditions, others battling addiction, and all of them in need of more than just a moment of care. They need a place of safety, support, and stability. That's what we want to create at 5105 Regan Drive. Thanks to the generosity of the property's owner, BHBC has been granted the opportunity to utilize this space and multiple offices in this space to provide services to transform the location into a community resource hub that offers food, clothing, case management, peer support, behavioral health, navigation, workforce readiness, employment assistance, and a direct pathway to permanent housing. And importantly, services that will be available during evenings and weekends because crisis does not end at 5 p.m. This is not a duplication, it's a theory. It delivers direct, compassionate, and consistent services, but we can't do it alone. We're asking basically for the county to partner with us and utilize your voices so that we can get CMPD and the sheriff office to clean up the area.
Thank you, Vicki. Kaya, up to 3 minutes.
Howdy, y'all. My name's Kaya Allen. I'm a working parent, a small business owner, and someone against all odds who still believes in public education. I'm here to speak about our kids. John Adams, on his thoughts on government, once said about education, laws for the liberal education of youth, especially of the lower class of people, are so extremely wise and useful that to a humane and generous mind, no expense for this purpose would be thought extravagant. Our kids are asked to do more with less counseling, less hands-on learning, and fewer pathways to real careers. They're not getting auto shop, home ec, or civics. They're not getting fresh food, field trips, or a clear route to happiness that isn't tied to debt or to detention. Tonight, I enjoyed all 4 proclamations, but we're an hour in, and I hope you guys get a pizza party. You tell us that there's not money for schools and that there's not money for aftercare, that there's not money for keeping kids out of trouble, but we have money for burn towers and mock streets and $118 million for a cop city. You say this is about public safety, but if you were serious about safety, you'd be funding things that stop safety before the cops ever show up. Education that includes trades and life skills, meals that feed kids so they can focus, counselors who catch issues before they spiral. You want to talk about second chances? Start giving kids a first one. Because if you've got $118 million for simulations, you've got lunch money for real children, and if you don't, then maybe this isn't about safety at all, maybe it's about control. CMS is facing a shortfall. We should be putting that money towards that shortfall. It doesn't make any sense. They told you that they needed it. Why aren't we giving it towards education? All right? I have no problem with money going towards cops. I have no money going towards first responders, but this is outrageous. This project hasn't had any transparency. It's been done through back doors and back deals. It's wrong and it's crooked. We need to be putting money and our efforts towards our children so we don't have to worry about policing. Tom Tillis has put a target on our back by labeling us a jurisdiction or an area that isn't cooperating with immigration. And what do you think is going to happen when we start funneling money on a federal level into this cop city on a college campus? Like, what are we doing, y'all? That's all. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. So next up on the agenda, we're going to take up some matters that we took care of during our dinner meeting. First up, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to let me read these motions, please, so we can get them on the record. The chair will entertain a motion to authorize the county manager to negotiate and execute all documents necessary for the acquisition of tax parcel 007-271-11 plus or minus 38 acres from Jerry D. McCarn and spouse Elaine C. McCarn for a purchase price of $7 million for park and rec purposes. Is there such a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, Madam Clerk. That's unanimous. Next up, the chair will entertain a motion to authorize the county manager to negotiate and execute all documents necessary for the acquisition of tax parcels 051-032-04 and 051-411-08 plus or minus 8.190 acres from Martin Marietta Materials Incorporated for a purchase price of $261,500 for park and rec purposes, and also authorize the manager to negotiate and execute a reimbursement agreement between the county and city of Charlotte on the reference parcels in which the city will reimburse the county the sum of $30,475 for conveyance of a permanent sanitary sewer easement on plus or minus 1.10 acres and a temporary construction easement on plus or minus 0.72 acres. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Finally, the chair will entertain a motion to authorize the county manager to negotiate and execute all documents necessary for the acquisition of tax parcel 145-172-01 plus or minus 0.327 acres from James E. Palmer for a purchase price of $37,500, and authorize the manager to file a right-of-way abandonment petition with the Charlotte Department of Transportation requesting the closure of plus or minus 0.30 acres of unopened right-of-way between Amy James Avenue and Morning Drive within the boundaries of Reed Park upon closing on the identified tax parcel.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any in readiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, Madam Clerk. That takes care of that business, and then we're going to move to appointments. First up, we will deal with the Mecklenburg EMS Joint Agency Board of Commissioners. Is there a motion to appoint Jamie Fenauer, President, Acute Care Operations Charlotte Region and Presbyterian Medical Center, to the Mecklenburg EMS Joint Agency Board of Commissioners to fill the unexpired term of Michael Vaccaro, expiring December 31st, 2025, as the Novant representative? Is there a motion? Second. Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none, although we do have unreadiness. Commissioner Powell.
I just have a question because, we've had people ask us.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
I have a question because we've had people ask us, how do we arrive at who we appoint? And my understanding on this is there was a recommendation, and did you interview the person, or are we just going the?
I didn't interview the person.
Recommended by Medic.
It was they were recommended by Medic, but no, I did not.
I just wondered. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next up, I'm sorry, there's a part two to that. I apologize. The chair will entertain a motion to appoint Derek Ramos, Deputy County Manager, Chief of Staff, to the Mecklenburg EMS Joint Agency Board of Commissioners to fill the unexpired term of Michael Bryant, expiring December 31st, 2025, effective immediately after appointment as the Mecklenburg County Representative. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Question.
Moved and seconded. We do have unreadiness. Commissioner Leek.
Yeah, for understanding, that's what I'm asking the question for. I didn't know we appoint the person that will take Mr. Bryant's place.
Yeah, we have a representative. Dina, you want to speak to it?
Yeah, Mecklenburg County has a seat on the board.
I want you to speak to it.
Yeah, Mecklenburg County has a seat on the board of commissioners for Medic, and Mike Bryan has been sitting in that seat for a number of years. And now that he's transitioning to be the county manager, he decided that it would be best that he roll off the Medic board and is recommending that Derek be appointed in his place.
On the board?
On the Medic board.
That Medic board, okay. Thank you so much.
welcome.
Didn't understand
No,
it.
that's okay.
Sure. Commissioner Powell.
So I have interviewed Deputy County Manager many times.
I hear you.
I've interviewed Deputy County Manager many times, and I feel good about this. So I feel like he would do a great job and has my full support. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, let's move on to the Library Board of Trustees. So I just want to, well, let me get the motion out here first and see if there's any issues. Is there a motion to approve the term extension request for Charles Thomas on the Library Board of Trustees for
So
a one-year term expiring June 30th, 2026?
I made a motion.
Second.
All right, moved and properly seconded. Is there any unreadiness on this? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Thank you. Next, is there a motion for reappointment of members of the Library Board of Trustees for 3 4-year terms expiring June 30th, 2029, effective July 1st, 2025? Jonathan Buchan Jr., Tracy Montross, and Preeti Srinivasan as eligible for reappointment. They were all recommended by the Vice Chair, Dr. Amy Hahn Nelson.
So
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All right, moved and properly seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. It's unanimous, Madam Clerk. We'll move on to Waste Management Advisory Board. Chair will entertain a motion for reappointment is needed on the Waste Management Advisory Board for 1 3-year term expiring March 31st, 2028. Michael Giacomi has received a recommendation from the Charlotte City Council and is eligible for reappointment. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Madam Clerk?
You have one matter still.
Historic landmarks.
Historic landmarks.
Oh, it's not on my sheet. Give me 1 second.
First one.
Oh.
The first one.
Well, why don't we go back to the first one that I missed? All right. Is there a motion? Reappointment is needed on the Historic Landmarks Commission for 1 3-year term expiring April 30th, 2028. Victoria Gray is eligible for reappointment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, I think we covered them all, right?
Yep,
Mr.
sir.
Chair? Thank you. Keeping me straight over here. I love it. Let's move to public hearings because it is definitely after 6:30. Okay, so right now, a motion is needed to open the public hearing for comments on proposed amendments to the major system component of the stormwater fee.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Are there any speakers?
For stormwater.
No speakers? Okay, so a motion is needed to close the public hearing
So moved.
and adopt the resolution authorizing amending major system fees for Mecklenburg County.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in, any unreadiness? All those in favor say, we do have an unreadiness,
So this is closing the public hearing and adopting the resolution.
and adopting the resolution. You want to bifurcate it? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Does she have to make a motion to bifurcate?
Is that what she wants to do?
Yeah.
But it's already separated.
I make a motion to bifurcate.
Christine's saying it's already separated.
It's already separated
Oh,
in the
oh, oh,
RFBA.
oh, oh.
So,
What are
Well, the
you,
way I read it together, though.
Okay.
So,
what is the question not to vote to close the public hearing and adopt? Because you're closing the public hearing and adopt, and you don't want to do number 3. Is that what you're asking for, Commissioner Powell?
What are we voting?
I'll just.
so I could just close, does she have to make a motion to close to do
She
that
can,
way?
she can certainly agree to close the public hearing.
What was my
And then
motion
vote
then?
against item 3.
You can
Mr.
keep
Chairman.
it. You can keep it.
Are you sure?
You can keep it like you
Okay.
had it.
All right, so we're gonna, so the way that I read the motion was to close and adopt.
Adopt.
She's fine with that.
Okay.
We had a motion and a second.
That's
All
right.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed, Madam Clerk. All right, next one. A motion is needed to open the public hearing to receive comments on a proposed Business Investment Program grant to HSP US LLC Trench Group.
What is this?
Motion is needed to open the public hearing to receive comments on proposed Business Investment Program
So-
grant to HSP US LLC Trench Group.
So moved. Second.
I want to know something about it.
Hold on 1 second, please. We'll get to you in just 1
Oh, I
second.
didn't see that, sir.
Okay. So we've got a motion to open the public hearing. It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We have a speaker, so he will speak to where you're going to, what you needed, Commissioner Lee. No, that's no problem.
Good evening, Chairman Jarrell, fellow commissioners, County Manager Giorio. My name is Clay Andrews. I'm with the Mecklenburg County Office of Economic Development, and I'm here to present for your consideration a business investment program grant for an economic development project considering Mecklenburg County. This is for a company, HSP, the US LLC, the Trench Group. And in keeping with our partial theme tonight, this is a German company, so we're keeping the international flavor here. HSP US LLC is a subsidiary of the Trench Group, headquartered in Berlin, Germany. They are what you could call a Siemens carve-out. They were originally part of Siemens Energy and have a long-term supply agreement with this project, which this project would likely serve. This will be their first manufacturing presence in the U.S. This project entails manufacturing high-voltage bushings, which you can see on your screen, that's used for electricity transmission. One of their three product lines, expanding the company's manufacturing capacity. The company is proposing to invest $37,349,000 in new taxable investment, to be split as $14 million in real property and $23,349,000 in business personal property. They would hire 74 new employees at an average wage of $77,315. And we are competing with Rock Hill, South Carolina, and Gastonia, North Carolina for this project. This project is looking at a location at 800 Westinghouse Boulevard in Charlotte in the Still Creek submarket, located in Commission District 2. As part of the consideration for this project, there were incentives offered for their investment to recognize the cost of moving here and setting up shop. The county has offered 3 years a grant at 3 years worth 75% of the new ad valorem taxes that they would pay for an amount of $353,523. The City of Charlotte has offered 5 years of a grant at 90% of the ad valorem taxes added to the tax rolls for a cost of $377,162. In this case, the state is offering $1,697,860, but that is, it's not in terms of a cash grant incentive or anything. It is sales tax exemptions on machinery and equipment purchases that the company makes that they would not have to pay taxes on. Training offered through the North Carolina Community College system of $125,800, and then work opportunity tax credit of $52,000, federal bonding program credits for $95,000, and a job ready grants of $10,000. They have a wide variety of jobs, which you can see here. Many of these jobs do not require a college education, and it has a very good career ladder that one could start at a certain place in the company and gradually acquire training and move to other positions. These are, a lot of these positions are, they provide living wages, but they do not require college education. Of course, we look at the cost benefit of any of these projects versus the grants that we offer. And what you can see here is that HSP US LLC is expected to induce an additional 23 jobs above and beyond what the project brings by the end of the 3-year grant term, and HSP US LLC is expected to induce an additional cumulative net of $143,602 in sales tax revenue, which is not part of the grant, by the end of year 3. HSP US LLC is expected to net the county $65,122 in revenue in the final year of the grant term, for a cumulative net of $200,421 over 3 years, and that's above and beyond the terms of the grant. In terms of the type of company they are, looking at some of their corporate culture, they are German. They do on-the-job training and educational support. They're very strongly based in the German apprenticeship model, similar to Siemens. They come from that background. They also have 100 nationalities in their company represented within the 2,500 employees that they have. Robust internships and apprenticeship programs. As a matter of fact, the chief financial as an intern. So that shows how far you can go. So we're requesting tonight the Board of County Commissioners to vote and adopt a resolution to approve a 3-year 75% business investment program grant to HSP US LLC Trench Group for a not-to-exceed amount of $353,523 and to authorize the county manager to negotiate and execute the contract.
So moved, Mr.
This
Chairman.
concludes my presentation.
Second.
Thank you, Clay. Right now, let me turn to Chair of Economic Development for any additional comment, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to let the board know that this project was unanimously approved.
Can't hear you.
This project was unanimously approved by the Economic Development Committee. It represents over $37 million in direct foreign investment into our community, which brings outside dollars in, and it strengthens our German-based business community. So we're all in favor of that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. So we have a motion and a second.
I have a question.
And I was coming to you, Commissioner Leak. I just wanted to put it out there on the table that we have an unreadiness with Commissioner Leak.
I don't think I'm understanding this contract at the end over here on the page where Willow Park. Are they lending want us to lend them the money, or what?
Yeah.
What's
Commissioner
The
Leak?
next agenda item, Commissioner Lee.
That's the next one we're doing. That's not this one.
Oh, that's not.
No, that's not this one. That's coming up on the manager's report.
Oh, I'm sorry. Manager's report.
Yes, ma'am.
rental
That's
housing.
coming up in just a sec.
I just have a comment.
Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
I just have a brief comment. Thank you for, because this one is in the district where I live. I'm at large, but
I can't hear you.
I've been harping on getting more business opportunities and economic development in District 2. So thank you for that. So very much appreciated. And I really very much appreciate the diversity of the organization considering the climate that we're in.
Thank you. So the way we'll do this one will be, the motion will be to close the public hearing and the second first. Okay?
All right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Close the public hearing. Now, I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution to approve a 3-year, 75% business investment program grant to HSP US LLC Trench Group for a not-to-exceed amount of $353,523, and to authorize the county manager to negotiate and execute the contract.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Unanimous. Great job.
Twice
Dr.
in a
Johnson.
month, I think.
Clay,
Dr. Johnson.
Clay.
You got me, Commissioner Powell. I mean, she got me on that.
Reigns.
Okay.
It's real competition.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for that. So Commissioner Powell did pass me a note, Mr. Attorney, that on the first public hearing, she actually supported it, so she wants to
Do you want to
change.
amend your vote?
I would like to amend my vote.
Okay.
Do I need to make a
You
motion?
need to make a motion.
So I hope that somebody will.
Reconsider.
Yeah, I hope somebody will second me.
So it's
Please,
a motion to reconsider.
please reconsider the stormwater vote, because I fully support it. I misunderstood the language.
All right.
I make a motion to
To
reconsider
reconsider.
my vote.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. So now do we have to
vote in favor.
just make the motion again? Make them.
Stormwater.
So I would like to make the motion to approve the stormwater fees I'd like to make a motion, as you read it, Commissioner, to approve the stormwater fee changes.
Second.
To support the approval.
Adopt a resolution authorizing amending major system fees for Mecklenburg County.
Yes.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any in readiness? Hearing none. All those in favor, well, hold on. Madam Clerk, what's the problem?
So it was read together when I was talking about reading it separately. So how does that change how we do this?
Well, she voted against the approval of the third item. as I understood it, because it was read together. She didn't vote against closing the public hearing.
That, if I'm not mistaken, that was the one that you did read together, correctly?
It was together.
I read that together, yes.
So to reconsider it, it would have to be read together.
So you go back and do the whole thing.
All right, so do you want me just to, you got to make the motion again, yes, please.
I make the motion to close the public hearing and adopt the resolution authorizing amending major system fees for Mecklenburg County.
There we go.
Second. 3 million, rather.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. It is unanimous, Madam Clerk.
Thank you for letting me correct it, because it's really important. I
right.
appreciate it. Thank you.
No, thank you for doing that. Now, let's turn to the manager for the manager's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually have 2 items under my manager's report tonight, one that is stated on the agenda and one that's off the agenda. I'll do the one that's off the agenda last and invite LaShonda Hart, our program manager for affordable housing, to come to the podium and present to you some NOAA multifamily rental subsidy program proposals for 3 projects or 4?
3.
3 different projects. So we'll turn it over to Mrs. Hart.
All right. Good evening, Chair Jarrell, Vice Chair Altman, Commissioners, County Manager, and my colleagues that's at the dais. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm here to present a funding request for 3 NOAA projects. Mecklenburg County has been partnering with the Ascent Housing and Housing Impact Fund for almost 6 years, with the first acquired property being Lake Mist. The Housing Impact Fund is currently under contract to acquire its 11th apartment community, which will produce a portfolio of 1,866 units, serving over 5,000 residents. Each property acquired receives a 20-year deed restriction, ensuring that rent affordability, with incomes ranging from 0 to 80% of the area median income. Each community has no less than 30% of units set aside for 30% AMI and below. The 30% AMI and below households, rent ranges between $250 and $550 monthly. Please note that the average 1-bedroom rent in Charlotte is $1,460, and a 2-bedroom average is $1,705. Over $23 million have been invested to renovate each apartment community, with more than 90% of those dollars spent with minority-owned contractors creating new jobs. Each community is provided with supportive services and resources as needed. Please reference the appendices for more details regarding the types of supportive services that they do in the back of your PowerPoint presentation. Through the Housing Impact Fund in 2020 and the second fund in 2023, the fund has raised and is deploying $125 million of social impact equity capital from the private sector to preserve naturally occurring affordable housing in Mecklenburg County. So this is the portfolio overview of the 11 properties that are here. As I mentioned, there are 1,866 of those units, and this breaks down all of the units. Of the 560 of the units that's listed to the map on the right are made available at 30% AMI and below, 724 of those units at 60% AMI, and 290 of those units at 80% AMI. And as I stated, there are robust supportive services that is located at each property that's listed on this map. These are the communities that have been acquired over time, over this 6-year period of time. And what you'll notice is that the Woodford Estates property is not on here yet. They are scheduled to close at the end of this month. Shelton Knoll, although is on here for a funding request, they've closed that property as of December of 2024. And then the Sharon Point closed March of 2025. This is just a snapshot of the signs of success and some of the information that I've already shared. Again, having a total of 1,866 apartment units available, 98% occupancy across their portfolio, and that their rents are 40% less than the market rates of similar units. And then the average rent is $336 per month. And then you'll see in the next slides the distance where the actual average grocery stores are located. They have 25-plus partners that are providing those supportive services that I mentioned earlier, and then 90% or more of contracted renovations are made with the minority-led companies. And then there are $23 million plus that's been invested in the renovations. So now we're going to go over each project. This is the project overview for Woodford Estates. Woodford Estates purchase price is $32 million. This is a 228-unit community. It was built in 1985. Just a few facts, it's 176 one-bedroom units, a total of 52 two-bedroom units, and 15% of the units were already renovated with luxury finishes. And so this particular ask is for Mecklenburg County. They're asking for a $2.5 million loan and also rental subsidy in the amount of $144,876 annually, and that will be over the course of 20 years. That is the limit of the deed restriction. And there will be 34 units that will be set aside for households without existing rental subsidies and/or vouchers. And these are two pictures of the exterior and two pictures of the interior of Woodford Estates.
It's fantastic.
And this is the map that I was mentioning to show the proximity of the respective stores. And then a different viewpoint of additional stores that are in the vicinity. The next project overview is Sharon Point. Sharon Point's purchase price is $34.5 million. There are 190 units. This was built in 2002. There are 38 one-bedroom units, 122 bedroom units, and 32 three-bedroom units. This ask is for a total of $117,295 annually for rental subsidy. And then, of course, the uses and sources are listed here as the others that will be supporting these projects. Two pictures of the exterior and two pictures of the interior. We have the pictures of the maps with the property listed and close by stores and other locations on both of these maps. And then we have our third property, which is Shelton Knoll. Shelton Knoll's purchase price is $5.9 million. The funding request from Mecklenburg County is rental subsidy in the amount of $28,536 annually. And there will be 7 units that's set aside for households without existing rental subsidies or vouchers. This is 45 units. And there are a total of 23 two-bedrooms and 22 three-bedrooms. This is one of the smaller properties. These are the exterior and the interior pictures. And here are the maps to the respective locations that's close to the property. And this concludes the funding support request. As mentioned previously, there are additional slides in the appendices that goes over the supportive services that they provide at all of the properties across their portfolios.
So thank you, LaShonda, I appreciate it. Before I open up for questions, let me just make sure my colleagues are aware. This is going to require multiple motions, right? So what I'd like to do first is I'm going to read this first motion. Let's get it on the floor. We'll go through questions that can pertain to all the properties, but at least we'll be able to go through from there. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the county manager to negotiate terms and conditions and execute an agreement with Willow Park NOAA LLC, under which Mecklenburg County would allocate a total of $3,649,102 over a 20-year period to cover 20 years of rental subsidy for 34 affordable rental units at Woodford Estates available to households earning 30% AMI and below.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Now, let's open it up for questions. I think I saw you first, Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell. I'm just going to come down the line.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The truth is, I don't really have a question, but I have a ton of support for all of these projects. And I'm just super proud of the county for being involved in this. I think this is the right way to do it. And so I'm in full support. Thank you.
Thank you. Give me 1 second, Commissioner Meyer. Let me come to Commissioner Townsend Ingram, because you're always at the end.
I think this is an amazing, amazing opportunity. Understanding some of the situations that we've had before, and the subsidy and all of that is great, but are there limitations with costs being raised on them, even though they have the subsidy there?
So
We own this property, though, so it wouldn't be, we'd be the landlord, so we would not be raising the rent, or no?
So no, we are not the landlord. Ascent Housing is the landlord, and there is a 20-year deed restriction. So when you have affordable units, there's a deed restriction that restricts rents from raising up. And so there are 30% rents, there are 60% rents, up to 80% rent. So it's the deed restriction that prevents the rents from raising, and that you're able to come into that unit to reside based on your area median income. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And I just wanted to make sure that, okay, they may have this amount, but they could still be, evicted because the subsidy only covers us to a certain amount, and then they raise it based on some other loophole.
So when you're paying rent that's based on the area median income, they'll take what your annual salary is, and they will take that monthly amount and they'll divide it by that 30% AMI to 60 or 80. So you're only paying that percentage of your area median income, and then the subsidy for those 30% AMI units pays the rest.
Talk in the mic, please, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the only question I had. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Meyer.
Oh, thank you. Well, Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell kind of stole the show, because that's what I was going to say. I don't have any questions. I just have complete support, and I'm just continually grateful and amazed at our partnership with, is it Ascent? Is that?
Yes, it is Ascent Housing.
Truly, I think this is the way to do it. I think this is the wave of the future. And I just really am so proud to be part of this vote, and I can't wait to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Leek. Commissioner Leek.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
My question deals with, will we have enough funds for seniors who want to do small repairs on their home? Steps, hot water heaters, nothing that is exorbitant, but that we can help them because they can't do it. As long as the home is in their names, they own the property, they're paying taxes on the property. So will this interfere with that?
So it's not the same thing that we're discussing this evening. So this evening, we're talking about rental units. And with those rental units, it is the landlord's responsibility to ensure that everything is up to code. When we talk about critical home repair, which will be another topic on a different day, we can then talk a little further about what you're addressing now. Is that okay?
Yeah, my concern is, are we going to have funds to help those who's not asking for what they're asking for?
Well, I think when it comes to the funding, it's a county manager and board type of thing, Commissioner Lee.
I don't want to deny one to do the other, and if we can probably find the funds to do both.
Two separate types of priorities.
So Dina, we've been doing critical home repair and NOAAs for the last few years, and I suspect in coming up in the recommendation, not to do a spoiler alert, but I suspect we're still going to do, I suspect we're still going to have a level of critical home repair.
Yeah, yes, we
Thank
certainly
you.
will. And I guess just for clarity, there's only one project in here that's asked us for sort of a contribution to their capital stack, 2.5 million, but that's a loan, so we'll get that money back. But the rest of them are asking for is a grant for the property taxes that they pay. So that's an ongoing revenue source that will not impact our ability to fund other programs.
I'm not trying to take from one to do the other,
That's
but
correct.
if we can do both, and you
Can.
think we can.
I think we can. I know we
But the
can.
minutes reflect that the manager said on tonight, she thinks that we can.
Sure.
If we- You
Thank
got that right, Madam Clerk. Thank you,
I want to make
Commissioner
sure I'm
Lee.
clear, and my seniors want to make sure.
Yep, we got you for sure. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you. I appreciate your question, Commissioner Leek, because when you were at your senior day and you were talking about critical home repairs, almost every single person in the audience got their pen out to write down what their
They
needs.
did, I got the,
Yes.
we got all that
Yeah,
information.
so I appreciate your question. And Dina, how long do they have to pay the loan back?
30 years, 20 years?
So they have 20 years, and once a year, they'll pay 1% back on that loan.
I should be more specific in my question. How long do they have to pay the $2.5 million loan
20
back?
years.
So they still have 20 for that?
They pay 1% back each year.
Even the money that's coming
They
out of
have
fund balance?
jobs.
Yes.
Okay. And so Commissioner Leek's question, like, that's what I was thinking. When we were at the Grimm budget retreat, and they were talking about how low the fund balance is, we're going to take 2.5 out of that.
That's correct.
Take what now?
2.5 out of the already small fund balance. So you're good with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay. And I had a lot of questions, because there are so many, and I met for at least 2 hours, if not longer, to ask all my questions. And I fully support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Griffin.
We're doing them one at a time, but I really support all of this. It's really supporting our community in terms of providing shelter. And it's really important that we continue doing this work. I would have one question, and that would be of the non-disabled, non-seniors, if we could figure out, Dean, at some point, some type of support for wraparound services that they're already doing with some accountability for it, to see if we're able to get them into workforce development or some type of training in all of our projects, not just what she's presenting tonight, but wherever we're investing in bricks and mortar, if there's any human services opportunities to move people up and the families up that specifically gets at, if it's not the parents, but the children in terms of intergenerational poverty, we ought to be taking advantage of that in some way or fashion. I don't know how that's framed, but we ought to be doing more than just bricks and mortar. But I wanted to say, based on the information I've gotten from Ms. Hart, I can't take credit for this. I have to say kudos to the Board of County Commissioners before me and Dean and the county. You've put in over $300 million in about 5 years into housing. And that is substantial when that's not your core business.
That's not our job.
That is phenomenal. So,
Well, thank you, sir.
now I'll get you on another one. Don't get me while I'm weak.
Right. Commissioner Altman.
Ms. LaShonda Hart, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're fantastic. And thank you to the manager for making it all happen and be so steadfast.
Well, I'm excited. I want to jump out of my chair, especially when I think about it comprehensively. One, I just want to say thank you for your work. I mean, you're doing a tremendous job. I know I change your title up all the time, Major Czar and Director and all kinds of other stuff, and you deserve all of those. So thank you. And Madam Manager, thank you for what you're doing. You know, when I first ran for office, I was running LaShonda based on this deal with understanding that I felt like the county should be in the units business. The wraparound is certainly important, and I know that there's disagreement, but when I think about the impact that we have on families
Mike's on.
and folks that would not have necessarily, that were housing insecure, that today are just, I mean, we're talking over 1,000, close to 2,000 families
Absolutely.
since we got into this business, which I just, again, I have chills thinking about that. What some people had to think about as it relates to housing and shelter and insecurity. And so I'm just ecstatic to support this, and I just can't thank our staff enough for this lens and for being able to balance this out. And the only question I would have, Dean, I want to go back to this fund balance because I want the public to understand that we do not go below thresholds. And we do not go below thresholds.
Okay.
With respect to our fund balance, and I don't think this $2.5 million puts us anywhere near that.
It does not.
The jeopardy,
correct.
based on what we saw from David. So thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. I think. So with that being said, for the motion that I just read, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Now, there's a B part, and I'm going to go through each one of these. Everybody's already asked their questions, so I doubt if there'll be any discussion. The next one, I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the county manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with the Willow Park NOAA LLC for a 20-year loan in the amount of $2.5 million in the form of a subordinate mortgage. The term of the loan will be commensurate with the term of the 20-year affordable deed restriction.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the county manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with Sharon Point NOAA LLC and develop terms and conditions under which Mecklenburg County would allocate a total of $2,954,644 over a 20-year period to cover 20 years of rental subsidy for 28 affordable rental units at Sharon Point, available to households earning 30% AMI and below.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the county manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with Arrowhawk NOAA LLC and develop terms and conditions under which Mecklenburg County would allocate a total of $718,761 over a 20-year period to cover 20 years of rental subsidy for 7 affordable rental units at Shelton Knoll, available to households earning 30% AMI and below. Housing Collaborative to administer the rental subsidy program. Is there such a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That's it. That's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Laura.
Chairman. Commissioner Allman earlier tonight asked me to provide an update on the Lake Norman Marine Commission to the board, so let me tell you kind of where we are. Last night, Lincoln County Board of County Commissioners did vote to withdraw from the Lake Norman Marine Commission, so now the Marine Commission is dissolved. At the same time, Senator Sawyer is working on legislation that would reconstitute the Lake Norman Marine Commission, and that actually went through committee today. I can give you just a very high-level overview of what is in the draft legislation. The commission would be expanded from 5 members to 9. It would not be dissolved unless there were less than 3 counties. So now only 1 county would withdraw. The commission would be dissolved under the new legislation. 2 counties would have to withdraw for it to be dissolved. But before it could be dissolved, there would be a mediation process to try to resolve the issues with regard to any county withdrawing. And Commissioner Powell, you jump in here if you think I say anything inconsistent. The appointments, the individuals who are appointed have to have specific qualifications, either a primary residence along the lake, have knowledge of boater safety, water quality, law enforcement, public recreation management, experience in wildlife or resource management. No more than 35% of any commissioner can reside in the same county. and no commissioner can have any controlling interest in a business that would allow them to make money off the lake. So that was in a prior draft, but that has since been removed. Let's see what else is in here. I know that there's now the ability for the commission to set fees, which I know some people had some concerns about, but I think they put some restrictions on to the extent that the fees can actually be used, so they can't, the fee cannot cost more than the cost of what it would cost the Marine Commission to provide the service. They have to be reasonable and customary. You can't use the fee for cross-county lines while they're doing the enforcement, and that citation would still be able to be enforced. One of the things that is a little bit of a sticking point still is that there's provision in here that the 4 counties shall assign a magistrate with primary responsibility for adjudicating matters concerning the commission. And the magistrate has to have staff and have an office either in the town of Huntersville, Cornelius, or Davidson. And they have to commit 8 business days a month to the business of the Lake Norman Marine Commission. There are some that have issues with that language, and Tyrone and I were talking earlier, the county doesn't have the authority to assign a magistrate. So we have reached back out to Senator Sawyer and asked that that provision be revised. So we've gotten some positive feedback about that, because I told them that there's no way we can comply with that provision. So that is something that will continue to be negotiated. So the bill went through committee today, and so it's moving through the process. It's moving fairly quickly at this point. And I think the position, after talking to all the county managers that are impacted, that this bill is better than not having a commission at all. And reconstituting under these provisions is beneficial to the users of Lake Norman. In the interim, though, County Attorney Tyrone Wade has been talking to the other county attorneys, and you want to talk about what you've been doing?
Because there's a question about jurisdictional authority for the sheriffs and those who police in the lake. And we're working, and the board will have probably a resolution I'll bring before the board to approve some modified language to cover the counties that are still functioning. The dissolution action is effective at the end of June, though the vote has already been taken, so that gives us some time to at least get some language to amend the resolution that is currently in place. That'll come in probably the next meeting or the meeting after that.
And that would be an interim measure until the legislation is adopted.
Yes.
So let me, thank you, Dina, thank you, Tyrone. Let me give space to Commissioner Powell, who has been intricately involved in the communications.
Yeah. It's just, it's a lot of stress in the interim, and you don't know if the legislation's going to pass. So it was risky. It's risky business to not have a Marine Commission. And we still feel the negative impacts of not having Mountain Island Lake Marine Commission. So there's a lot of stress. I'm personally aware of the stress in Catawba County, and I heard some stress from Iredell earlier. I don't know how they feel right now, but there's a lot of stress about the interim. And Dina has the latest version. I haven't seen it yet, so I haven't seen the one with the magistrate in it. And there's just a lot of concern of the interim, of this voter safety in the interim. And hopefully what Tyrone is working on, crafting, will help a little bit, but it's still very concerning for public safety and recreation. Dina gets a lot of compliments about her work. She's shining like a sunbeam in this. Like, she has really helped, pull everyone together and work on this, so that, because it is a first order priority. Public safety on land and water is a first order priority. And right now, it's just very scary. And so really, beyond that, I just can't say much more. This is where we are, and how do we deal with it the best way possible? And how do we continue to work together with other counties? How do we move forward in a positive way? And I want to do that, however we can do the best. And thank you. Thank you, Attorney Wade and County Manager. You are shining. Thank you.
Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
I just have one question. Is this, the amendment that is going to be proposed in this bill, is it getting tacked on to something else? Or is it its own standalone amendment or bill?
It's a standalone bill.
Okay. And then my second question is there a possibility to add something that would prevent one group from, totally disseminating an entire, because if they were to bear some liability, if something were to happen, then maybe that would be a deterrent for them just dismantling an organization altogether. I mean, there's one being proposed now where Board of County Commissioners could suffer some kind of personal liability if something were to happen. So I think consideration should be given to require them to bear some responsibility. If you're going to sit on this board, then it's going to be serious enough to where there are going to be repercussions if you just decide you want to dismantle it for whatever reason.
I can certainly bring that back.
Well, I think we probably should talk about that piece, because I think there's probably not a appetite based on the current makeup of the General Assembly, and
All we can do is suggest it. I don't know that it'll get legs, but
yeah, I
mean,
think
I understand your concern, though.
Yeah, I think it's definitely legit. Thank you for that. Last point.
The good part, like there's some good things in there. Like it's good that if there are less than 3 counties, then it automatically dissolves. So that would take 2 counties to withdraw before it dissolved. And then there's the requirement of having a mediator, which is, I wish we had that now. So there's some good things in there, really good. I just hope it passes. And, people are concerned about the fees. So, but I hope the good stuff passes and we're not left lingering in the interim. Thank you.
I think you got to have willing partners too, though.
Yes,
I tell you, you got to have a willing dance partner. Any other questions?
I'd like to know if we can arrange some, to the manager to visit these sites that we just voted.
Oh, the housing sites?
Yes, I'd like to see it.
Okay.
So put that on the agenda for me.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dina. And thank you, Tyrone. And I do want the public to know that, this was a top priority, and the manager and the attorney jumped all over it, and certainly Commissioner Powell was knee-deep in this big time. So thank you all for your work on that.
Swimming.
That concludes my
That
report.
concludes the report. Okay. We'll move to our consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve those items
moved.
not pulled from consent?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? All those, you got unreadiness?
No, I won't.
Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, let's go with our consent items that have been pulled. The first one is 25-0229. It's a grant award 2024 State Criminal Alien Assistance Program, or SCAAP. It was pulled by Commissioner Leek and Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
All right, I will yield to McDowell and then I'll speak.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I needed some more information on this. The third whereas in this resolution says the BOCC deems this activity to be a worthy and desirable undertaking. I was like, where's this language coming from? What is this about? Can someone explain this? Is it connected to ICE detainers?
It's not detected to ICE detainers. It's grant funds that are going to be used for overtime expenses related to CIP projects and offset county dollars.
But it says State Criminal Alien Assistance Program.
That's the name of the program.
Okay. Criminal Alien Assistance has nothing to do with,
Well, that's likely what the name of the act is, but we're not using the money in that way. I mean, we're using it for a specific purpose.
and could you just say again what it was?
It's going to be used for anticipated FY26 overtime expenses related to CIP projects and offset county dollars as needed.
CIP projects, okay. Okay. All right, I might need to have a little offline on that one. Because I'm still thinking it's kind of gray. So Commissioner Leek, over to you.
I didn't hear you.
Your turn.
You can go.
Okay.
Commissioner.
My concern is what are we doing right and what are we doing wrong in terms of the decisions being made by the sheriff?
I really can't answer that, Commissioner Leek.
I'm sorry,
I said I really can't answer that. I don't know.
are we losing or what?
I don't know, Commissioner
Well,
Leek.
does this have something to do with the sheriff?
Yes,
mean-
this is a grant.
Whereas-
This is a grant program
Yes,
for $149,070. And that the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program provides federal payments to localities that incur expenses for incarcerating undocumented criminal aliens with convictions for violations of state or local law. And that funds have to be used for correctional purposes. And so they're going to be using the money for overtime expenses related to CIP projects, which is an allowable expense under the grant. And in order to qualify, they must be housing undocumented criminal aliens with convictions of federal or state or local law.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Leek, I apologize.
They do
Finish your
capital
question.
improvements
okay,
of the
my
jail,
question
so that
was,
would,
how are we mixed into this in terms of the county with the sheriff, either doing what they ask? I'm confused.
well, they can't apply for a grant without the Board of County Commissioner approving it. So all of their grant requests come through the board, and you approve them, and then they can go apply for the grant. But in terms of the activities that they do and how they do that, that's really up to the sheriff. And according to what's written here, the way they want to use the dollars is compliant with the grant requirements.
And they pay the money back to the county?
No, they get the money directly from the state.
So we don't have to furnish any funds?
Well, it's a reimbursement-based grant technically, so we upfront it and then they reimburse us.
All right, so we do get it back?
We do get it back.
All right, okay. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Rodriguez McDowell.
Yeah, one more thing.
I'm sorry.
The clerk had sent me, the sheriff's office did respond to my questions, and just for clarity, because I asked if the $149,000 meaningfully covers the actual costs incurred by the county, and the response was that the costs are likely significantly higher than the reimbursement amount. Aside from wages and salaries paid, costs incurred could be related to in-facility medical care, food services, et cetera. This reimbursement offsets some of the costs incurred. So I'm in favor. I'm going to vote in favor of this. I'm going to support this because now I feel like I have a better understanding of what it's about. So thank you to the Sheriff's Office for sending those responses, and appreciate the dialogue here. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
What, you don't have a second? I thought we had a second.
I made the
I
motion.
thought that you made a motion. All right, I'm sorry, I apologize. Can we get okay, now we have a second. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those ayes have it. Let's move to the next item. Is 25-0235, Budget Amendment, Community Support Services. This is a revenue increase. Commissioner Leek.
How much and where's it coming from?
It's $50,000,
It's 2,000.
$50,000.
And who will use these funds?
This is for community support services. They're going to collect user fees from partner agencies for licensing to access the homeless management information system.
All right, so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next is item 25-0236, grant application, Workforce Innovations Grant from National Alliance to End Homelessness. Commissioner Leek.
I'm concerned about Workforce Innovations Grant. It doesn't say how much down here.
It's $25,000, and it'll be used to support training for homeless service providers.
To train
Homeless service providers?
providers, homeless, okay. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any in readiness? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item, 25-0237. This is a grant application, Emergency Solutions Grant from the City of Charlotte. Commissioner Leek.
How much are we getting from the city of Charlotte?
This is $190,000.
How will it be used?
Short-term financial assistance to create greater housing stability.
Housing stability. All right, so we're getting some money from the city.
We are.
And which is their job on housing.
Correct. They get emergency service grant dollars that we do not get, so this is an opportunity for us to
And the
share
reason I
in that.
pull these is because the general public finds out what's happening with contracts and money. All right, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item, 25-0245. It's a public hearing request, Land Use and Environmental Services Agency Fee Ordinance Changes. Commissioner Leek.
All right, we've already gone through that.
Did we do that, Madam Clerk?
Well, this is something
This is
different. This is a
scheduled, yeah.
request for a public hearing to set new fees for land development services that Louisa provides to the towns, except for Huntersville. They
yeah.
provide those services, and then we set the fees that get paid for those services.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is 25-0249. This is construction contract, Northwest and Southeast Health Clinics roof modifications. Commissioner Leek.
Are we looking at 249 modification roof,
Yes,
northwest and south? That's the two health clinics.
right.
I know where the northwest is located on Batesford Road. Where's southwest?
That's Billingsley. Billingsley Road.
I wish they would have put Billingsley there. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, next item, 25-0251. No, I'm sorry. Did we, that's the one we just did. No.
No,
That's right. Public hearing request, minor system stormwater fees amendment for the City of Charlotte, Town of Matthews, and Town of Mint Hill. Commissioner Leek.
Yes, I pulled this so that hopefully they will see this information as relates to consent items and what would take place. Clarify that for us quickly, Dina.
Yep, this is a request for a public hearing. Tonight, we did the public hearing on the major stormwater fee adjustments. This is a public hearing that'll take place for June 17th on the minor system. This is for the smaller streams, City of Charlotte, and the towns.
So the county will sponsor that and not a commissioner?
Well, this is for a public hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is 25-0253. This is a donation from Billy B. Parker for Mecklenburg County Park and Rec, Tyvola Senior Center. This was pulled by two commissioners, Commissioner Meyer and Commissioner Leek. Commissioner Meyer, let's start with you.
I just wanted to bring this about for public awareness. This is in my district, a great program at Tyvola Senior Center, and just a shout out to Mr. Parker for a donation. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Leek.
Thank you. I pull this because it's rare that we get a donation from the public as it relates to senior citizens facilities. So I want a note sent to this family of thank you from the county, and especially from just senior citizens.
Right.
If that's all right with the clerk.
Absolutely.
I want to send a note of thanks for the donation.
Okay.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those ayes have it. Last one. Item 25-0255. This is a grant application, National Recreation and Park Association grant. Commissioner Leek.
How much are we looking to get?
$2,500.
And how's it going to be spent?
That is going to be used to assist with providing training to youth coaches. You're welcome.
So move, Madam Manager and
Mr.
Madam-
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any unreadiness? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That's unanimous, Madam Clerk. We'll round out the agenda by moving to commissioner reports. We'll start with Commissioner Townsend Ingram.
No report, thank you.
Go to Commissioner Powell.
I totally have a report.
Great.
Okay, so thank you for the grace of allowing me to change my vote, because I care deeply about increasing the stormwater fees. And you hear me say they're not high enough, and so thank you for letting me do that. And it reminds me of the time that Becky Carney voted yes by mistake for the fracking bill, and her colleagues wouldn't. It was 2012, they wouldn't let her reverse her vote.
Wow.
And she was horrified, because she never, so we all make mistakes, and thank you for that grace. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
They kept saying she fracked up her vote. So thank you. So, she didn't mean it.
Punchy.
I want to talk more about, like some of the risks for not having a Marine Commission. And so the Marine Commission maintains the buoys, and now they'll be maintained by North Carolina Wildlife, which is very understaffed. So they have a hard time doing their job now. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm concerned about boating safety because the less presence of a Marine Commission, the more reckless boaters get. I'm concerned about, of course, invasive species in the water. We have to be able to manage them, and if the interim is too long, it's very worrisome. And then the huge concern of mine, because Mecklenburg County was doing such a good job, is now we can't do the charter boat permitting. And we were doing such a good job in that I feel like we all need to call Greg Clemmer.
So we're not doing a good job?
We are doing a good job, but now we can't do it because there's no Marine Commission. And so in the interim, it's very concerning. And I have called Dina on holidays to tell her about the unsafe things that I've seen on the water, because a lot of people don't know the rules. Some people don't speak English, and I'm just very concerned about the interim. And these all were coming into my head after we were talking about it, so I wanted to share that with you because I think the more we share with each other, the better. The more that all of us know about what the Marine Commission does, the better we can represent everyone. Because we should have 3 Marine Commissions. We should have Lake Norman, Mountain Island Lake, and Lake Wiley. And Lake Wiley's doing an outstanding job. So that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Griffin.
Tonight, Mr. Chairman, you made me recall a time when you had to step outside your comfort zone. When you talked earlier about the relationship with Mecklenburg and Germany and here, we started, Commissioner Lick, you will remember, we started the very first language academy.
That's right.
Inez Hoshauser. And she would go to Germany every year recruiting teachers, and we had a little place right across from the Bruns Avenue School.
That's right.
Where I'm not sure if the city and the county partnered, but they purchased homes, and people could purchase and rent homes right across from Bruns Avenue long years ago. And then to see these kids and talking about Germany today, and we've come full circle, so that was good thoughts.
Yes, and I happened to mention to him that,
Commissioner Leek, you're up.
I'm sorry, sir.
No, you're
Not being
up.
disrespectful, please don't think that.
No, you're fine.
I was thinking about World War II, and I said to him that the trains used to come through the city with German prisoners on them, and they would stop in the middle of the city so the community could see those persons who was against Americans at that time. World War II, and we won the war. And look at where we are today. But I wanted to mention the fact that President of Livingstone College is pleading for health support. I met with he and his staff and some other people a couple of weeks ago. Not about that, but this came out at graduation on last Thursday. He's dying for kidney. And he was pleading. He is the president of a college. He had just brought in $8 million to Livingstone that week. And he was saying that he was adopted. And after he was 18, he had to live on his own, made his way. And I'm trying to set up a program at Livingstone with students who age out of a West Charlotte or another school can go to Livingstone without cost. And he promised me that he would not send them home for Christmas because they didn't have any place to go, but they would have a site to live on that campus at Livingstone during the holidays, but be in college, getting a college degree. So we're working on that. So I'm in prayer, and I'm calling my prayer warriors to do the same, to bring about a change so that this man's life would be left. And he wants to meet with our chairperson, with him. So please, if you have the prayer of religion, do that. We'll have a pope in the next 4 days, predicted by Leak.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Meyer,
No report.
Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
I have a report today. I just wanted to say that I'm super excited that this weekend, my oldest child is getting married. And so we're super excited about that. I'm going to be taking a few days off after the CMS meeting tomorrow. And today, my husband and I got to pick up our niece from the airport. So I wanted to say welcome to Yabini Kickett. She is a Western Australian artist at 27 years old and here in the U.S. for the first time. It's the first time we've met her. And we're just super excited to welcome her and our other family members who will be joining us this weekend, so, and friends. So I just wanted to let the community know I'm taking a few days off, but I'll be back. Thank you for allowing me the time to just congratulate my daughter and welcome my family. Thank you.
All right. Yes,
You're
Commissioner
gaining
Hall.
a son.
No report.
Well, let me just say real quick, congratulations to you, Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell, and to the family on this new addition. You'll have a new addition to your family, so that's fantastic. And welcome to
Jonathan Amari.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Yabini
And then-
Kickett, yeah.
And welcome to our friend from Australia as well, so that's fantastic.
Welcome to our family.
Uh,
I'm
Well, she just mentioned her visitor from Australia, so we're excited for you and you deserve the time off. Just want to remind everybody about we'll have a presentation from our superintendent tomorrow. So let's all be ready for a productive meeting. The superintendent has worked very hard and we appreciate her. It is not a joint meeting, so we'll just get a presentation and should be relatively in and out.
And it's at VCW.
At VCW, exactly, so don't show up here.
What time?
Do not come
It's
here.
at-
Happened before.
It's at
It has
2:30?
2:30. Yes.
2:30.
2:30, not 10
Yes.
o'clock, but 2:30.
All right, at this time, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.